Esther, lovely to meet you. And where are you based actually? You're in South Africa?
Yes, I'm in Mossel Bay, South Africa. So that's on the south coast.
How's the weather there right now?
It's actually beautiful. We've got quite a stunning day today, which is nice. So I mean, it's
Ah,
our summer, so
I'm very jealous. I'm looking out the window now, and it's cold and wet.
oh
There
no,
you go.
yeah, doesn't surprise you really.
No, no,
Obviously,
no.
growing up in Scotland, you know,
Ah,
I'm very used to these days.
excellent. I just wanted to start this by reading a little bit from your LinkedIn page. And it says, for the last 10 years, and I don't know if that's current or not, I've been working in conservation through marine life companies, helping showcase their projects and research across social media.
Yeah.
In the research field, I manage photography and filming of the projects, including editing of the videos. I mean, that sounds
Right.
an amazing thing to be doing. Can you
Yeah.
just expand on that a little bit for us?
Yeah, so what brought me to South Africa is actually I came to work with a company called White Shark Africa. So they're like a cage diving company. So I ran their internship for a few years, and then I had my first child. And after maternity leave, I was kind of in limbo, working a bit for White Shark Africa, but not really working. And then Enrico Gennari approached me from Oceans Research to offer me a job doing the social media for his company. So so Oceans Research company I still work for is a sort of marine research company. We also have an internship.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Oceans Research? I believe a great part of it is research on great whites, or is it much broader than that?
It's much broader, definitely, but I mean, obviously, a large part of it is what brings a lot of interns to our internship is the white sharks. Very popular animal, as I'm sure you can imagine. But we do we study a lot of the different marine life here. We not only just other sharks, but we do the cetaceans as well. We have studies on those, right down to the tiny little species that we find in the intertidal pools.
Lovely. Excellent. It's obviously white sharks that I imagine draw most public attention.
Yeah.
I mean, what is a great white shark? How would you describe a great white shark? And where does it fit in the incredible niche of the ecosystems?
Well, so I mean, to me, the white sharks are like, you know, the dogs or the puppies of the ocean. So they really do each have their kind of individual personality. You get ones that come visit the research vessel and they're really curious and they love sort of like, you know, spy hopping and checking the people out that are on board. And some of them are a little bit standoffish, and they'll stay away and they'll maybe come up on occasion, and other ones appear to be a bit more aggressive. And there is bait in the water, of course, with both cage diving and our research vessel, and they'll like constantly try to go for the bait, and you only see them when they go for the bait. So they each have kind of their own personalities, yeah. And you get to know the ones that stay around for a little while, but you know, being a nomadic species, they never stay around forever, unfortunately. So they'll come and go as they please. Goodness knows where they get to.
It's
but yeah,
sorry.
Sorry. No. I was just going to say that
it's very much tracking of the sharks to know where they go.
So we do have a project where we do track the white sharks as well. So there is, acoustic tagging of some of the white sharks, a limited number of those. Some of the other species as well have been tracked or are acoustically tagged. So at Oceans Research work with ATAP, which is Acoustic Tracking Array Platform. And a couple of other companies like Ocean Tracking Network, and they work together to get some tagged marine species. And we have actually receivers here in Mossel Bay that are dotted around South Africa, which can pick up on the animals as they pass by.
I seem to remember from the past a bit of information about a particular great white that travelled the entire Atlantic to the other side.
Yeah.
Is that a familiar one with you?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So apparently, well, not apparently, she was tagged here in South Africa and travelled all the way to, I think it was the south coast of Australia. So quite an amazing journey.
Yeah. Was she kept an eye on? Do they know what happened to her after that?
It was before my time in white sharks, but I think she was satellite tagged. So I mean, some of those satellite tags can last a few years. I'm not sure how long this one lasted, but and obviously long enough to collect that data, which is quite amazing.
An incredible journey. I mean, there's just so much information or knowledge that we have no idea about. It's quite stunning.
I know, I believe, again, don't quote me on this, but I believe she actually like stayed, quite deep underwater for quite a period of time during her journey as well, which I find fascinating. Wonder what she was up to down there, you know?
Yeah, wow. You dive?
Oh, yes, I do actually. Yes, I'm a advanced NAUI diver, so quite proud of that, you know. But yes, I got my advanced last year, so I love doing it. I don't get a lot of opportunities to dive. I'd love to dive more, but I do also sort of partner with my Keeping Alive campaign. I partner with a local dive company, and we run a lot of cleanup dives, which is amazing. So I try to join in on those when I can.
Do you have much issues there with pollution of the materials, sort plastics and etc.?
So it seems to be that our biggest issue is fishing gear. We do have a big angling community here, and we get a lot of visiting anglers. The ones that aren't as familiar with the area tend to sort of fish in spots where they snag a lot, and those are the areas that we target for we have a project called Clean Ocean Divers, so we target those areas so we can recover a lot of the gear. And actually, we've collected, I mean, in one of our dives, we collected over a phenomenal 2.5 kilometers of fishing line. That was one dive with just 5 divers. It's scary, actually.
Yeah, it's the quantities of fishing line and nets and other stuff is just totally unknown. We have big programs here off Cornwall of retrieving nets and fishing gear, and it's just a constant job, really.
It is, isn't it? I mean, Ghostcare it's a terrible sort of deadly problem for our marine life. So I mean, like, at least by recovering some of unfortunately just recreational fishing gear on our part, we haven't come across a lot of the commercial fishing gear, which poses an even bigger problem. But even the smaller recreational stuff, I mean, we came across the corpse of a cormorant bird on our last cleanup, which is really, really sad to see, and it had clearly been hooked and just obviously drowned down there.
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't realise is that these animals are actually drowning in the nets. I mean, they're struggling. It's an awful way to end. We just had, in fact, this week, Tuesday last week, a little item came through. We have an organisation here called Fathoms Free, and they just brought up a net off Cornwall, a baby dolphin in it, a seal, and it's a dead body. And people will say, oh dear, that's a shame. But you don't witness the struggle and the pain that's going on underneath it all.
Exactly. And I mean, you've got to think that these animals can sort of stay underwater for a long time. So, you know, it's going to take them a long time to drown probably as well. I just can't even imagine.
No, indeed. Out of all the marine conservation issues that there are, where do you think the greatest problems lie?
Well, there's a lot, obviously. I still probably looking at the variety of problems there are. One of the biggest problems is definitely the fishing industry. You know, a lot of it is unregulated. It's mismanaged, and you know, they're taking tons and tons and tons of marine species out of the ocean. Like, and each trawler can take, you know, goodness knows how many tons. So it's definitely, it's got to be a problem that needs to be addressed.
On Scubaverse, you've sent us some lovely articles. Enjoyed them a lot. It's always hard to gauge what effect one's articles or videos have on public or specialists. You get very much feedback from the things you write.
Yeah, some of my blogs have had a bit of attention, which is really nice. So yeah, I think I've had quite good feedback on the Scubaverse articles I've sent in the past. So that's great, definitely. I mean, I think probably the most attention comes via social media, you know, posting a video, especially white sharks, of course, you know, and I've got a few like octopus videos and like rays and things like that. So they seem to be the more charismatic species that drives feedback and attention. Yeah.
Get involved with schools and education as well with your programs?
Yes, so I actually have a puppet show with
a puppet show.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So it's really nice just to be able to talk to the really young learners, you know, as you know, as young as their nursery school age. So like, you know, probably from the age of 2, they can learn about well, it's the puppet show is about like a shark that's a bit sad because nobody likes him, and he talks to other ocean animals that explain to him why he's so important, as well as kind of touching upon all the plastic pollution and how we should how we can be better educated on plastic pollution, what we should and shouldn't be doing. So I mean, the kids love it, they really enjoy it, and I'm really hoping they learn a bit from it as well. I have obviously spoken to older learners too, but that's more of on a kind of having a presentation and chatting to them about not just the sharks, but again, the plastic pollution. Plastic pollution's been a very big part of the Keeping Alive campaign, especially in the past couple of years. We've realized that with shark conservation, it's very hard for people to action. You know, you can have petitions out, they can go and sign petitions, but to do anything of sort of immediate value, it's really hard to action. Whereas plastic pollution, you can start doing today. You can do like one little thing to make a big difference as well with plastic pollution and reducing your use of plastic. So that's why we've put our focus more into that, especially because we have a big youth following, so kids can kind of get on board a lot easier that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It is down to us as individuals. I mean, I know we can often sit back and blame other people or industry or fishing, but the amount of plastic you see from individuals on beaches, roads, coastlines, it's a lot.
And you know what makes me sad is Mossel Bay has a big tourism industry. I mean, granted, not this summer so much, you know, but we have a big tourism industry, and the visitors that come here, just, it's like they don't clean up after themselves, you know, and if you speak to not all of them, of course not all of them, but you speak to some of them about why they're leaving their mess behind, and it's like, yeah, but there's people from municipality that are employed to clean up. It's like, that just doesn't seem to be the point. Like, you know, it takes you, 1 minute to pack away the stuff that you brought with you and put it in the bin behind you. You don't, you're not keeping people in employment by dumping onto the beaches. It's a terrible excuse.
It is an extraordinary excuse. It's crazy.
I know, it's just a mindset of some people, and I think that's what I'm hoping I can change with some of our projects as well. Like, I think, yeah, people need to have it driven right into their heads, exactly what the consequences are. And I mean, sometimes you have to make it quite sad and show, obviously, the devastation to our marine life as well. And hopefully it hits home and changes people's mindset at least a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Can you tell us just a little bit more about Oceans Research? I mean, how big is the setup? Is it global, or is it
Well, I mean,
local?
we're a small local outfit, but we have a lot of international interns that come to sort of join our research projects. So yeah, there's just like a handful of us in the team, but yeah, we get a lot of people coming, especially through the South African winter months, because obviously in the UK and the US, that's when it's kind of break time.
And are you always looking for people to join you or help you out, volunteers?
Absolutely. And we mostly get interns coming from the universities that are, doing a marine biology degree or similar. So what's really great is they can get some field research experience. And I mean, that's really hard to find when you're doing sort of theoretical work. There's not so much practical work. So at least when you come and do an internship like ours, you can say that you've had hands-on experience, and it is proper hands-on. I mean, you will probably likely be hands-on with the sharks at some point, the smaller species that we're tagging. We've got a number of different projects on the smaller species. Okay, you might not touch a white shark, but yeah, there are other species that you'll be like properly hands-on with. I mean, with the white sharks, you'll spend time there, definitely viewing them and getting the data on them, but not necessarily hands-on.
Sounds a wonderful way to spend your winter.
Exactly. People obviously a lot of the time come here for the white sharks, but do you know how many of them absolutely love the intertidal species by the end of it? And I think it's because it's just, you can do that when you go home as well. You go to any of the UK beaches and explore the tidal pools there, and you'll see some similar species, and they're incredible. They're fascinating little creatures.
Over the time that you've been out there and working, have there been any surprises for you, things you've learned that either you didn't even know existed or have altered your way of thinking?
Oh yeah, tons and tons and tons. I don't think I knew much about Nudibranchs before I came here, but I'm absolutely in love with them now. Yeah, and like Nudibranchs are they're definitely up there. I have a long list of favorite species, but yeah, Nudibranchs are up there. They're the ones that you really want to find on a dive. So yeah, I absolutely love discovering those. And octopus have become a firm favorite. They're one of my top favorites along with the sharks. They again full of personality. Coming across them on our little tidal pool explorations is amazing, because I have a 7-year-old and she explores the tidal pools with me a lot, and it's just, I mean, you can see how elated we get when we find an octopus, and thankfully we find them quite a bit. We know where to look.
They are also one of my favorite animals, the octopuses. I mean, I don't know even how to describe the intelligence, the tactile, the interactions are absolutely stunning.
It's like they are definitely sentient, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's people. I don't think people quite believe you when you say so, and then you video them and you can see that they're like properly interacting with like the GoPro that I'm putting in there. And I mean, it's not me, I'm not like shoving the camera in their faces and like making them do anything. They want to explore and they're really curious, and I absolutely love that. And I think that the new movie, I don't know if you've seen it, that My Octopus Teacher has brought to light, a bit more information about their personalities as well, which is incredible. And I mean, before I came here, I wouldn't have had a clue they were anything like the animal that they are, and that they do have this interaction with you.
Yeah, my Octopus Teacher was a stunning film. It was a one-off.
I know, it's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And occasionally I see people with the cameras poking them at octopus and then wondering why they're not getting good shots. You just have to sit there for 5 minutes and they'll come out and wonder what
exactly
you are.
That's it. When we come across them, that's exactly what I do. I'll put the sort of GoPro in the water and let them come to the GoPro, or if I've got my phone camera, then we just stand above it. Yeah, so
exactly.
It's just, yeah, they are curious, and I think they can work out whether or not you're like an angler that's trying to catch you for bait, or if you're just not going to be like properly disturbing it, and they can actually approach you.
I did an experiment once with a spear gun. I mean, I'm totally anti-spear guns, but it's just this reef I used to know all the time, and I go down there, and the fish would come in, and there was an octopus, etc., etc. And then one day I went down with the spear gun, and the difference was extraordinary. Nothing came near me, and what the reasons are, I am not fully sure of. I think you put off a feeling of your hunting, you know, which they pick up on. But the difference was extraordinary.
Yes. No, I feel like a lot of animals, they're on a completely different level with that kind of thing. It's like, you know, something that us humans don't seem to have in our intelligence is that, well, not necessarily, but like most of us don't have that intelligence to pick up on things like that. I feel like a lot of animals do. I mean, even your domestic animals can.
Yeah, that's very true. It was interesting you talking about nudibranchs and stuff. One of my things that always frustrates me is if ever I go with a guide or something in Red Sea, for example, and if I have a GoPro, which is kind of limited to how smaller things you can film, so often somebody will point out something, and I'm thinking, well, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? And then after ages and ages of looking, you come down, and they're pointed to this tiny little nudibranch, and I'm having a hard time seeing it, and they're wanting me to film it. I'm thinking, I can't. And then they get slightly upset, you know, that you're wasting their time. So.
Oh no, that's why I think one of my favorites is the gas flame. I'm not sure where you all get them in the world, but you get them certainly in the Cape Town waters, and they are like, you know, almost the size of your hand. So they're pretty easy to spot and film, and they're stunning. They're this beautiful sort of like orange and purple, and like they're just absolutely incredible. Yeah, probably my favorite nudibranch.
That's ones I like. Ones great. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, you also get sea hares here. I'm not sure if you get them in the UK.
Yes, you do. Yeah,
you do. Yeah. Oh, I mean, they're not as pretty, but they're just something really amazing about them as well.
In fact, sea hares, I spent an extraordinary amount of time trying to film them mating once, and it never happened. No. I mean, they are so slow. It's like trying to film lumps of dough together. You know, and I ran out of air on many occasions trying for that.
No. Actually, I remember getting a picture of, I can't remember which species of nudibranch it was, but little, very small orange ones. But it looked like they were all in a row, and apparently they were all collectively mating.
Wow.
So it was quite an incredible sight. But it wasn't until afterwards that I showed someone the photo that they explained to me what was happening, because I was like, what are they doing?
So what's the future hold for you now, do you think? What would you like to happen now?
I really hope I can obviously keep going with my endeavours with keeping alive, and really, spread awareness of all the issues that are facing our oceans, and continue working with our interns through ocean research. I get to obviously talk to them a lot about my Keeping Alive campaigns as well, which is great. So I get people all over the world that want to help me out, which is really nice. So if I can just keep going with the awareness. One of our big projects of Keeping Alive, like I mentioned, is our cleanup dives. What's really nice is we combine it with a coastal cleanup. So we do on land and in the sea, just to sort of compare what kind of things that we're picking up. And I've had really nice support from municipality. On land, I've already had a bunch of cigarette butt bins erected on the local paths where we were finding far too many. So what I would really, really love, and I mean, obviously there's going to be quite a bit of red tape, I'm sure, is to set up almost like a mini MPA in the specific fishing zone that we target for our cleanup dive. I think MPA is going to be too strong a term for it. I don't think that's going to be possible, but at least maybe putting up signs in the area, and I've come up with a tagline, fish here, lose gear, but just to put the fishermen off, especially visiting ones, just to put them off actually fishing there, because they are going to snag. The sort of topography of the ocean there it's very rocky, and we find so much snagged line, so many hooks, sinkers, etc. I mean, it seems pointless to fish there if all you're going to do is continue to lose gear. So if I can get one, just even 1 or 2 signs just saying, you know, not to fish here, that would be great. I just know the red tape, and it might be hard, but that's my goal.
What would happen if you just made one and put it up?
It'll get taken down. Yeah. No, yeah, the municipality are unfortunately on top of it. Yeah. Also, I think probably the anglers might take it down themselves.
That's true.
At least if it's a municipal one, it's officially put up there. Nobody's going to touch it.
Yeah. Esther, it's been wonderful talking to you. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and thank you for helping me get the word out there about some of the efforts I've been making with Keeping Alive and Go Dive and Oceans Research.
Absolute pleasure. And please do keep sending us your articles.
I will do, definitely. Yes, thank you.
All right. Thanks now. Bye.
Bye.